Hey everybody, it's Alex Youngblood. I've got Brian Haskins here with me. It's been about a week or so since we've done this last content bit. So excited to get back into this one. Today we're going to be talking about the property avatar and why that's so important and how you can find it and why it's something that's crucial to your business. In fact, one of the first things we do within our implementation program is help the student find their property avatar. So we're going to jump right into this. If you're coming on, just go ahead and say where you're coming in from, what market you're in, and we'll answer some questions as well at the end of the call here. So where you're coming in from, what market you're in, and
Sorry, man.
Oh, what's that from the phone?
Yeah, I was trying to get it started, but I've got the sound off now.
Okay, cool, gotcha. All right. So let's do this real quick. Just go ahead and say.
All right.
All right, hold on a second. I'm going to go ahead and give this video a nice big old thumbs up. Justin Dean, I see his comment here. He says he wished he could be there. Still upset about my silly answer. Oh, he was referring to when we were on, when I was on the webinar with Sean Terry, and Sean Terry put up a word that people had to get. I guess he was one letter off, and we gave away $1,000 on the webinar, and he was one letter off from it. So it's okay. It's okay, man. You're making money in real estate anyway. It's not about making the money off fun giveaways, right? So, but anyway, so the property avatar. What is the property avatar? Or actually, first, let's explain what an avatar is to begin with. So Brian, if we are trying to put together an avatar, what would you describe an avatar as?
Yeah, so it's like your ideal person, the person that, whether you want to work with them or you want to, it's just your ideal person.
Right. So in marketing, it's really a marketing term, right? So when we're dealing with marketing, and if we're trying to put together an avatar, we're looking for or building a model or a picture of what we want something to look like, right? So for instance, if we're marketing and we're looking for an avatar to market to, let's say it's a demographic similar to like an older, or let's say an older demographic, right? Somebody that's 50 to 60 years old, or they make this certain amount of money, or they're in this certain location, right? So that would be an avatar. Now, when we're talking about a property avatar, we're simply talking about a certain model of a property that we're going after. So that could be something as simple as square footage, year built. We'll talk about the different things that go into making up the avatar, and how we can use that. So the property avatar is going to be a property that fits a certain amount of criteria, and it's not only about the property itself, but we're also talking about transaction data too. So for instance, it could be a certain type of sale, or it could be something that comes through a certain kind of deed or something like that. But for this instance, we're going to talk about the property. We're going to be talking about the year built, how long somebody has owned that property for, as well as value and square footage, stuff like that. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. So if you're on here again, let me know where you're from, what market you're in, and we'll hop right into this. Because we need to know why this is important. Why is the property avatar important? The property avatar is important, number one, because that's going to cut down on marketing costs. Whenever you go into a market, a lot of people are just like, well, I'm just going to throw a bunch of marketing out there, going to see what sticks. And that is a recipe for disaster when it comes to marketing. So we need to figure out where and how to hone in our marketing dollars in order to be the most effective with our marketing campaigns, right? So when we have people come into our implementation program, Brian, what would you say is some of the biggest struggles when people are trying to figure out where and how to market?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different struggles, but whenever it comes to, understanding the marketing side of things, people don't know where to market. Let's say, for example, they're in a real estate market where maybe it's not super competitive. It's just kind of maybe like a moderately competitive real estate market where sales are good, but they don't really know where they should be investing. A lot of times what they'll do is they'll look at, well, maybe there's a lot of new construction in this area, or maybe there's a lot of, rehabbing going on here. So maybe I'll start my marketing here, but they don't look at the real data. So a lot of people struggle with understanding kind of where they should be doing their marketing. A lot of people find out that they're doing a lot of their marketing and focusing in areas where there's not a whole lot of interest or even activity. So it's kind of one of those things that they do a lot of marketing, but they're just not seeing the results that they want. Or if they do find a property, they're not able to find a buyer for it. And it's because no buyers are really interested in working in that area.
Right, exactly. So the important thing about the property avatar is that it's going to give you the right place to be spending your marketing dollars, right? So why would you want to spend money on marketing to houses that are built in 2015 when the people are buying, when we're just looking for people with a typical year built maybe of 1960 to 1985 or something along those lines. So it's interesting because it differs from market to market, right? Every house differs from market to, or every avatar differs from market to market. In your market, Brian, what would you say is that sweet spot of what houses are people looking? Are they looking for older? Are they looking for newer? Are they looking for somewhere in the middle, or what?
Yeah, so I'm in a unique market because we're spread out. A lot of the market that I'm in is really rental type market. So there's a huge demand for older properties, not too large, 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom stuff that they can rent really easily. Stuff that is going to sell for a low amount, but cash flow a lot. But then we also have other strong areas that are super high end, or there's lots of areas where kind of the middle of the market. Where there's a lot of, people that are doing rehabbing. So you really just have to almost go neighborhood by neighborhood because it can really vary. So it really is a big difference depending on the types of properties and the areas. But typically it's going to be older type houses that either they can, provide some value by fixing it up and then retailing it, or something that they can get a deep enough discount to where they can keep it as a rental property. It cash flows nicely. So it really just kind of depends. And that's a big part of, why the property avatar, like you said, is so important, is because it does vary from area to area pretty dramatically.
Yeah. So how do we go about finding the property avatar? Let's talk about that, right? So in fact, it is one of the first things we do within our implementation program is we go out and we help the student find their property avatar. And this is really important, right? Because in that first point when you're trying to get that deal, or you're trying to break into a new market, or whatever it is, it's very critical that you find success very quickly. Because if you don't, it's just going to mess with you upstairs mentally, and you're going to wonder if you're doing things right, and then you're going to be scared to market, and then it's just all going to fall apart, right? So it's very, very important that you nail that property avatar, right? So it all starts with 3 main things, and one of those is going to be the year built of the house. And I believe that it actually goes a little bit further past that, right? We start geographically with location, right? So we want to make sure that we're marketing for the property avatar in the right area. So finding those hot zip codes. So obviously, Brian, we can't do a screen share here, and we can't show you exactly how you go and find those hot zip codes, but it is something that we can do for free, right? We can locate those top zip codes for free, and we can find out where the buyer activity is. And it's very, very important to do that, right? So one of the first things that we do with our students in the implementation program is we schedule a one-on-one call, right? And so on that one-on-one call, we get with you on the phone and on the computer and find that location of that avatar for you, right? So Brian, can you explain to us what on that first call, what's so critical and how we go about doing that?
Yeah, so the reason why it is so important is obviously because really you want to make sure that you're going to get the most bang for your buck when it comes to your marketing and things like that. So the property avatar is really important. And if you don't do it first, then you really can't start your marketing because you don't really know where you want to be targeting. And the property avatar, it's really important to not only, understand where the demand is, but you're also going to be able to pinpoint exactly who's buying properties, what are they paying for properties, what are they looking for, and that's great data to have because ultimately that's going to set you up for everything else in your business to be successful. So on that first call, one of the things that we'll do is we'll sit down and we'll just open up the computer, do a screen share like you mentioned, and we'll walk you through each of the steps that we use whenever we're evaluating the real estate market. And what's so cool about this is that I would say, 9 times out of 10, whenever we actually pinpoint the most important zip codes, the most popular zip codes that investors are actually buying in, people are really surprised. It's not typically the same zip codes that they would have thought. So there's a very good chance that they would have been focusing a significant amount of their marketing in the wrong target area because they might have been focused in an area that maybe there isn't as strong of demand. So that's really why it's important to really be data driven on this business. All the information's there. You just have to know how to use it. There's no penalty for using this information, unlike with a stock market where you can get in trouble for knowing all this information. It's like everything's there. You just know how to use it. You can really use it to your advantage for sure.
Yeah, it's a 100% legal, ethical way of what we refer to as hacking into the market, right? And be able to use this data so that we can make data-driven strategic decisions moving forward. So essentially what we're doing is we're actually kind of building the perfect wholesale deal in your market. We're going through and saying, okay, what does a wholesale deal look like in your market? Now, I remember when I first got started putting like newspaper ads out and stuff like that, and even bandit signs and things. And those are okay ways to market, right? But it's a very, would you say a hit or miss kind of way of doing it by, putting ads out like that?
Yeah, not only is it hit or miss, but it's very untargeted. So you don't know if the people that are reaching you are going to be motivated. You're going to get a lot of people that are just going to be kind of tire kickers. You're going to get people that aren't motivated, and they might be having properties in complete opposite areas of where you want to market into. So that's another downside.
Yeah, they might be completely motivated, but have some weird lot out in the middle of Timbuktu or some house that's out in the middle of wherever, and it's just completely not something that we could do anything with, right? So that's something we definitely have to watch out for. So when we're looking for that avatar, let's talk about that, right? So when we're looking for the avatar, we want to know, number one, the year built of the property. So if most properties are being flipped between 1960 to 1985, that's where we want to concentrate our marketing. We really don't want to tick into the 90s, into year 2000. We can adjust that at any time. But what we're doing is we're looking for the probability, the highest probability of sellers or the highest probability of making a deal based on what the market is telling us. So year built is number one. The next thing is square footage, right? So we want to see if we should be targeting houses that are built say 800 square feet to 1,200 square feet, or 1,200 to 1,500, or 1,500 to 2,000, or 2,000 to 2,500, or 2,500 to 3,000 and up, right? So it's important to nail that down too, because if we find out the year built of the property, and then we also know we can narrow it down to a certain square footage, well, then we know we're getting even closer, and we're cutting out all the other excess waste of marketing that isn't going to lead us to where we want to go. So that is important as well. So we've got year built, we've got square footage, and we've got value as well, right? So why would we target properties that are from 3 to 4 to 500,000 if we see that most of the market is biting somewhere around that $150,000 to $200,000 mark, right? So again, we want to check that out. Now, in my area, we can find value of property by the tax assessment, right? Through the tax assessment. How about you? Do you kind of range that from tax assessment?
No, it's pretty far off in my area.
But how do you range that on value then? Like if these properties you got to find the value or that sweet spot of where properties are selling from 200 to whatever. Do you just look at how do you look at that in your area?
Yeah, I mean, you can use it, but you just have to understand, I mean, it's pretty far off. It's pretty low in my area. I typically don't.
Really low?
Yeah, it's really low.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's hard to use that as a gauge.
Yeah. So finding value then is going to be different for everybody in their market. See, my area, I could look at the tax assessment and I could say, oh, these properties that are assessed at this amount are the ones that are the most likely properties to sell. So if somebody on here as well, give us what are some things that you look for when it comes to a property avatar, or something that you look for when you're trying to build that ideal list to narrow it down. So we're going and we're pulling a cash buyers list, right? So we're pulling that cash buyers list and we're extracting the data off of that. So we've got year built of the property, we've got the square footage and value. Are there any other things that you would use, Brian, to bring that together?
Those definitely work. Another thing you can look at is property type as well.
Property type, yes.
So one thing to point out, the reason why this works so well and the reason why this is important is because once you do this research, you're going to see that a lot of these investors are going to be kind of creatures of habit. A lot of investors want to buy properties, if they're keeping them as rental properties, near ones that they already own, or if they're buying properties to rehab and stuff like that. These people have a formula that works for them. And we're basically cracking the code on that formula. So a lot of times if these investor buyers, if you look in there and say, all right, well, this person's bought 10 properties in the last 6 months, a lot of the properties more than likely are going to fit this code. And that's why this works so well, is because a lot of these investors, they have a formula they use and they replicate it over and over again because it works for them. So this is really important, to once we have this information, we know that it's going to really work for us, because if we find other properties that are a good fit or likely to this, then more than likely they're going to be interested in buying those properties, which makes it really easy for us to kind of gauge the market.
Absolutely. And as we've been referring to throughout this video, we've talked about our implementation program, right? So in our implementation program, the first thing, like we said, we do is we help you build this avatar and help you get your marketing set up and help you go figure out the direction you want to go, right? And it's different for everybody. Some people want to spend a lot of money on marketing. Some people don't want to spend a lot of money on marketing. But that all comes down to assessing where you're at in your business right now, right? So I say we try to help you get to where you're trying to go. We meet you where you're at to try to help you get to where you're trying to go. And a lot of that starts with that one-on-one implementation call that we do in the beginning. Then what we do is we have the ability to access us through Voxer and questions throughout the week in between our Thursday coaching session. So every Thursday, we have a live coaching session in which we speak to everybody, see where they're at on their business. We set goals with people and hold them accountable to their scorecards and try to make sure that they're doing the right thing in their business, not just saying they're going to do something, but actually doing it. So that's really, really important. So if it's something that you're interested in, something that you want in your business, you want somebody to be there to help you get from whether it's a beginner or an intermediate or somebody that's just doing a few deals here and there, and you're really trying to ramp things up, really trying to take this business seriously or trying to take it to the next level, let us know. You can schedule a strategy session with us. Brian here just posted the link. It's reiaccelerator.com/mentor. And we'd be glad to schedule a strategy session with you and see if this is something that's a fit. If it is, great. We'll invite you into the program. And if not, no harm, no foul. You just continue showing up for these calls and trying to get as much information as you can. But we're looking for a few more people. We've got a lot of different people we're working with. The phone is buzzing all over the place with people asking questions, and our strategy sessions are full. But we're looking for just a few more people to work with so that we can help you get from wherever you are in your business, whether that's beginner, intermediate, wherever it is. We want to help you with that. So just register or schedule a strategy session. We'll be glad to help you with that. So, all right, guys, we've talked about the property avatar. Does anybody have any questions about the avatar and how you can use that in your business or go about finding it, or anything else that you need help with at this point in your business? Let us know. I'll be glad to answer any questions for you with regards to that. And if you've appreciated this video, give us a thumbs up, a like, and let us know so that you're giving us the good encouragement. The more encouragement we get, the better information we give. It's just how it works. So if that's you, we appreciate it. Give us a thumbs up. All right, so any questions with regards to the property avatar or anything along those lines, let us know. Let's see here. Seems like actually a lot of people are commenting on that rehab thing I posted earlier today. All right, let's see. All right, well, if there are any questions or comments, we'll be back on here on Thursday. We'll be talking about some more good information for you guys real estate-wise, and we will see you guys then. So take care, guys. See you in the group. We'll chat later.